College is a really big part of a lot of people's lives. The effects that the college experience can have on some people can be very positive, but they can also be very negative. I'm going to spend some time talking about why college sucks. My college experience wasn't exactly what you would call successful or rewarding or worth the tuition, but what you could say is that it was terrible. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I don't really want to call any specific college out, so for the sake of this video, we'll say I went to Towson University. Yeah, I think that covers my tracks. Yeah, so Towson University is a public college, which means that it's technically not for profit. What that really means is that the college has to find some way to spend all the money that they make by the end of the year. Colleges don't take this as a sign to only charge what they need, but instead they use it as an opportunity to find things to throw money at. A good portion of students pay for college with scholarships, financial aids, and loans, or like a combination of the three. So colleges are always pushing the envelope with how much they can get away with charging. The colleges find a few ways to spend money. Towson University was basically redoing all the sidewalks and bridges and just like undertaking random construction projects every opportunity they could. When I was there, the same sidewalk was done like 3 or 4 times. Sports teams are another good place to throw money at because the bigger and better the sports team, or the more lucrative the program, the bigger the school is, and the more students they can attract, and that means the more money they can pull in. So it's kind of like a cyclical process. Here's some things that colleges don't spend money on. Teachers' salaries. Almost all the film professors I had were adjuncts because the university didn't want to pay full-time teachers, but they had no problem giving all the deans bonuses and raises and that sort of thing. Parking garages. The university didn't put a limit on the number of parking passes they would sell, which meant that some days you would spend hours circling for a spot. The only gating factor for parking was the cost of the pass. It'd be like $300 per semester. Pretty minimal effort was put into the shuttles too. My college had shuttles running every 30 minutes or so, but oftentimes they were completely full and they just skipped the stop. The free lots that they had available were usually about a 30-minute walk from campus, and they're usually the location mentioned in all the crime alerts for like robberies and assaults. It really doesn't help that the campus police usually consists of the rejects from Paul Blart Mall Cop 3, or the cops transferred because they got filmed beating one too many unarmed minorities. Wi-Fi. Pretty much no college Wi-Fi network is anywhere near as strong or secure as it could be. Internet on college campuses is pretty dismal. These days, even after putting yourself into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, you're still stuck working jobs that don't require college degrees. In fact, most of the college graduates are working retail jobs or other low-paying jobs for up to 6 years. There just seems to be a big double standard between the bureaucracy and the students. Colleges don't treat students like they're paying customers. Dealing with the administration can be like more painful than going to the DMV. It seems like whenever there's a problem, they just send you through a loop of like endless like, oh, actually you need to talk to admissions. And then you get admissions and they're like, oh, no, you need to talk to the bursar's office. And so you go to the bursar's office and they're like, no, you need to talk to your advisor. And then you're at your advisor and they're like, oh, they should have sent you to financial aid. And then you go to financial aid and they're like, oh, I see the problem. You need to go to admissions. And of course, all the offices are open for like 15 minutes a day at high noon, and they're definitely a minimum of 20 minutes away from each other. So this way, any issue you have is stretched out as long as possible, and if they're lucky, it means they have to stay for another semester. That's not the only way they lock you in. Towson University's film department has a tendency of only offering certain classes every other semester. On top of that, they have an interesting set of priorities that governs who's enrolling for the class. By default, all athletes get priority for enrollment. Even if it's for a class with 5 spots that is needed for graduation, some fucking freshman swimmer kid decided it'd be a fun elective for him, and now you have to go for an 8th year because the wait list is full of all the people who've been hoping that they're going to graduate by the time they're 50. College athletes really get treated like an entire different class. They're one of the college's favorite groups to throw that money at. The only groups that are worse than the sports teams are the Greek organizations. I want to be very clear about my opinion of frats and sororities. They are toxic organizations for rich kids to buy friends. They're established so that people with money don't have to work for anything. They don't have to work for grades, they don't have to work for friends, they don't have to work for the jobs that they get after college, and most of all, they don't have to work to get laid, because they're organizations built on sexual misconduct and predatory behaviors. My videos are supposed to be funny, and I don't want to belittle the atrocities that frats have glorified and romanticized with more jokes. So, I'm just going to leave it there. I have a lot more gripes about college and the experience, so I'll probably revisit the topic in a part 2 or something later. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And most of all,
please clap.